Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to thank you so much for the hearing in Yosemite Valley last month and for the dramatic testimony we heard about the need for aggressive initial attack on fires as soon as they are discovered. I introduced this legislation in response to the devastation caused by the Tamarack fire in 2021. On July 4, 2021, lightning struck a tree in the Humboldt-Tiobe National Forest in Alpine County, California. It ignited a small fire that smoldered for days on a quarter-acre of rugged terrain. According to Alpine Sheriff Rick Stevens, California's firefighting agency, CAL FIRE, dispatched a crew to put it out. But they were told to stand down by the U.S. Forest Service, which proceeded to monitor the fire instead. Every day, the Forest Service sent a helicopter over the fire to take video for their Facebook page, but not once did they drop a bucket of water on that fire to put it out. 12 days later, the Tamarack fire exploded out of control, consuming nearly 70,000 acres. One of the towns in its path was Woodford's, California. In 1987, the Woodford's Fire Department responded to a report of fire on Forest Service land near their town. They, too, were turned away. Federal officials threatened Woodford residents with arrest for even trying to extinguish this small blaze. Hours later, the fire exploded to 6,500 acres, costing 25 families their homes. The Forest Service once had a policy of aggressive initial attack when a fire is first spotted, and an informal rule to put out little fires before they can become great big fires. This policy was abandoned in 1972 until it caused the disastrous Yellowstone fire of 1988. The Reagan administration then restored that rule, but unfortunately, Reagan left the next year and the let burn policy returned. And it's now cost us countless acres of forest land and countless millions of dollars of firefighting costs ever since. Now, the Forest Service argues that it needs to use fires as a forest management tool. Well, fine. If that's the case, that tool should be carefully and deliberately applied when conditions warrant. Unplanned fires are not forest management tools. They're unpredictable and imminent threats to our forests and to our communities. The Forest Service argues that they don't have the resources to put out little fires. Well, this is fatuous nonsense. It's obviously far cheaper to put out 100 little fires with a single airdropper crew rather than to let one of them get out of control, requiring thousands of airdrops and hundreds of crews. It is dangerous nonsense to, quote, monitor incipient fires in today's forest tinderbox, even if they seem to pose no immediate danger. No person in his right mind would monitor a rattlesnake curled up in his bedroom because it isn't doing much of anything. He'd kill it before it does. This bill restores the 10 a.m. rule, requiring the Forest Service to launch aggressive initial attacks against all fires as soon as they're spotted. It forbids the Forest Service from preventing state and local fire agencies from attacking fires on federal land. It requires any prescribed fire that exceeds its boundaries to be immediately extinguished. And it requires that deliberately set back fires be approved by the incident commander and not indiscriminately set by inexperienced ground crews. I'm offering an amendment in the nature of a substitute to emphasize that the suppression requirements in this bill will be consistent with interagency agreements and applicable standards of firefighter safety, and it also includes some minor technical changes. In our national forests, only the Forest Service can prevent small blazes from becoming forest fires. It's time they did. And with that, I yield back.